Hello, welcome to the 25th day of November 2025. My name is Kurt, and this is my daily Good Life meditation, a live video exercise that I do each and every morning at 5:30 a.m. to remember my life objectives and principles, those which are outlined in my book, Going Alone, which you can read for free at goingalone.org. I also use this time to think about the last 24 hours and how I did with any noteworthy challenges or opportunities that I met, the ones that I handled very well or very poorly, which are the places I can learn. I review these, talk about how I either succeeded or failed to apply my values to these, to navigate the opportunity or the challenge well or poorly. I also reliably talk about death. So if that's a squeamish subject for you, be your heads up. Thank you. And I want to say a sincere thank you to my YouTube members and my Patreon supporters. I really do appreciate your support. All right, let's get into it. For the last 24 hours, the only note that I have in my little notebook here is simply a solid day. Yesterday was as solid a day. Just a second. It's about as solid a day as I could hope for in terms of both structure of the routine that I've discovered in my life and the utilization, or I should say, the, the application of my best efforts to live well in the time that I have each day. What I mean by that is, although yesterday was a rather, would mundane be the right word? Routine day? It was a very deliberate day. I lived very deliberately yesterday. Each hour arrived at, apprehended, anticipated, executed, and then considered. Kind of like a cyclic cycle of each of the circumstances throughout the day, passing through it in a very deliberate and determined way. Fit is how I felt. Very fit yesterday. Nothing to note otherwise. I got a haircut, had some nice meals with my wife, had some nice long walks. The weather was really beautiful. Spent just a little bit of time in the garden, uh, and had some good talks with my wife as well about some important things. And that's about it. As for the creed, it consists of 8 objectives and 35 principles. The 8 objectives, which I will read or recite from memory now, are number 1, to at all times be ready for death, having affairs, relationships, and life's work in order. Number 2, to make good and effective use of my time, to not waste my few days that I have each day that I should say, not even considered in a plural sense, to not waste today. Number 3, third objective is to develop and maintain good and sound, both virtuous and not hollow, life objectives and principles. Number 4 is to cultivate good emotional reactions, so I'm responding well to the challenges and the opportunities that I meet throughout the day. Number 5 is to perform good actions relative to my values. Number 6 is to recognize my true limits and true opportunities, so I know how far I can reach, what I can possibly do, apprehend, engage with, and what is beyond me. Number 7 is to do just one thing at a time and do that thing slowly and deliberately and carefully. Number 8 is to maintain my balance, which is a consequence and result of attendance to and striving after the aforementioned 7 objectives. I always like to read one of the principles. There are 35, too many to read or remember in one sitting here, but I'll go ahead and read one of them. Today, I'm going to read the principle titled The Pirate Ride. One of my favorites, a rather strangely titled name. Pirate Ride is my principle that is my reminder that in my worldview, free will is an illusion. We do not live in a determined universe. I don't believe in fate, but I do believe that what we decide and do is compatible with the larger universe around us, that what is happening in the machinations all about us and through the time before this very moment are like unwinding domino events that scatter, based on the valiance of subatomic particles, the way they operate. So there's a bit of randomness in the universe, quite a large amount of randomness in the universe and disorder that shuffles things up, makes it so that the dominoes don't necessarily fall in a straight line, but twist and turn and rattle their way towards this very moment. And it's the inertias of all of the consequences of that are happening around us that lead us to make our decision, right or left, you know, tea or coffee, yes or no, whatever the case may be. Free will then is an illusion that we utilize to give ourselves a sense of agency in the universe, when in fact we are simply another consequence of the endlessly seemingly endless unfolding of events and circumstances around us. All right, so let me go ahead and read that already amply described principle, the pirate ride. And there's a quote: "And he's awake who thinks himself asleep." That's from John Keats. The pirate ride. There is no good reason to imagine we are anything but atoms and molecules and compounds and organs and muscles and limbs and brain and mind in mind, in a pause, and mind instantiated through energy borrowed of the sun and the internal heat of the earth in alignment with the inertia of the universe. That is it. In a sense, a very crude sense, we are complex chemical reactions, natural processes unwinding through brief years, months, and days towards some conclusion which a sufficiently powerful computer algorithm might one day plot and predict. We are decision engines driven by the universe at large. In a sense, our destiny was always set, with our deliberations and decisions being just some distinct moments of seeming agency along our chemical unwinding from conception to death. A pathway we could hardly avoid or choose otherwise, a route decided not by us, but instead by the complex orchestrations of a universe which delivered us into life and mindlessly conspires during every moment we live to nudge and jostle us into every decision and action we vainly think our own. Life, a purposeless river like meander. That image comes up very often in my thinking. This life as a river, like a river with a purposeless meander. I lost my place. We live, we experience, we think, we decide, and we move, but never truly of our own volition, and always on the path of our law bound chemical unwinding. Life, therefore, is like a Disney theme park pirate ride, an unintentional horror, joy, and amusement in which our robot pirates and the living which in which the robot pirates and the living riders are one. We live our lives then along seemingly invisible tracks we can never jump or escape, for we lack utterly the will to do anything but stay our course. And though we can make any decisions we like, we can never have made any decisions other than the ones we did. I came up with that idea, the title and the image of the pirate ride, when literally riding along at Disneyland on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, and noting the pirates which I had seen in action since I was a boy growing up in Southern California, firing their guns, chasing the ladies, trying to coax the key from the dog for decades. And I realized that that motion, that determined action, seeming liveliness, is a little different from our own seeming liveliness. Although not to deny that we're alive, but seeming insofar as the idea that we are in control of all this, when in fact I suggest that we are merely more chemical reactions unwinding along the path of least resistance, subject to the jostle and pull and push of all of the consequence and actions around us. All right, so that's that for that. The next 24 hours, well, I have a job interview in about 3 hours. So I'll finish this. I'll go do morning exercise, have a walk with my wife, feed the dogs, have a walk with walk with my wife, feed the dogs, feed ourselves, and then Yumiko will drive me to the school for the interview. I'll sit in on a lesson, and we'll talk to the director of the school and see how it goes. I'm hoping that they'll make me an offer. We'll see. Let's read comments if there's any. Hello, Robert. Robert says says hello to myself and says it's currently 43 degrees Fahrenheit and 68% humidity with an air quality index of 17 and beautiful air quality today. Wow, in Napanee, Ontario, Canada. Here, Robert, it looks like it's about 10 degrees and about 80%, 75 or 80% humidity. Hello, Evelyn. Evelyn says hello to myself and Robert, noting that it's 9:39 in Bologna, Italy, at 38 degrees and 96% humidity. Robert says hi to Evelyn, and Evelyn says hi to Tim. Is Tim here? I don't see a comment from Tim. I know Tim had some issues before where he was making comments that he could see but others couldn't. Maybe this is a case where Tim made a comment where others can see and I can't. Mystery. Well, that's all I've got for you, everybody, today. Thank you for joining me. I hope everybody has a good day. I'm going to sign off and get ready for my interview. Wish me luck. I wish you all the best. Oh, there's some comments. Robert says thank you to myself and bye all. Evelyn says good luck on the interview. I know how much you want this one. Yeah, I really do. Thank you, Evelyn. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, everybody. And I wish you all the best. Be safe, but not too safe. And tonight, I will die in my sleep. Take care. Thank you, Robert, for the good well wishes of good luck.